guys, today we're at Alton Towers Scarefest 2025. It is the day of Halloween, and today I'm going to be experiencing all 5 scare mazes. So that's Edge of the Forest, Compound, Altonville Mine Tours Tiny's Revenge, Hairdo Trick or Treat Town, and Amigos in the Afterlife. Because I'm with my family today, I'm not going to be filming around the rides. However, I do have a vlog up from earlier this year where you can check that out. But right now it's just gone 11 o'clock, which is when the family scare maze is open. So we're going to go check out, I believe, Amigos in the Afterlife first. I quite enjoyed this last year. It's definitely more meant for the kids, but we'll see if they've made any changes. And I did still find it quite funny, to be fair. And then afterwards we'll get some Haribos, which should be nice. So stick around for all that. Well, we've just experienced Amigos in the Afterlife for the second time. That was hilarious. I had so much fun in there because even though I'm not the target demographic, it's so interactive for everyone, and we were in a small group and some of the younger kids were a little bit scared in some bits. So I got to go in the Lucha Libre ring, which was so hilarious and so funny. So there's lots of different scenes themed around Dia de los Muertos in there. So you have like a kitchen where you have to find ingredients in order to pass through into the afterlife. You have to find the key to get in. There's a scene where you get to learn some cool dance moves for the fiesta. And then of course the Lucha Libre ring. It's hilarious. 2 guests get to go in and see if they can defeat the reigning champion of the afterlife. And then you walk through a few more hallways which are decorated with flowers, so it's very like traditional in that sense. It does smell very nice in there. And then you get to have a dance and a sing along with Barry the Worm, and then you're led through some more corridors where you get to see more of the happy haunts that are in there. It's so much fun. It's not too scary for the little kids, although it is a little bit dark in some bits, so some kids might be scared, but absolutely hilarious. It's definitely one for all the family. It's super interactive and the actors in there are always really great, so definitely they said that it would probably come back for next year, so definitely if you're thinking about it, go for it. Absolutely. So we've just left Hairdo Trick or Treat Town. I really enjoyed it again this time. So we came out with 12 sweets, but this time you also get Mawam sweets as well, so we got 2 strips of those. It's actually pretty decent with the amount of sweets that you get. So the structure of that maze is you go in and you meet the residents of the trick-or-treat town, and you have to go around all the doors and knock on them. Some of them have treats behind them and you sometimes get a handful of Haribos, and then otherwise there might be a little trick. You might get just a teensy little jump scare, so it's not too scary for younger kids. Here's a little look at the setup out here as well for Scarefest, which used to be on the lawns, but now it's up here. But it's a lot of fun. It's very interactive, and definitely the actors, once again, as they did last year, when they notice that, you know, I'm obviously not the target demographic, they kind of tailor their performance and throw in some little jokes for, you know, obviously the older kids and the grown-ups. I thought that was really good once again. I think I had more fun this time in Amigos in the Afterlife, whereas last year I would have maybe had it the other way around, but they're both really interactive, and I do think the theming for both of them are really good. It is a little bit of a shame that you can't take pictures or videos in either of them, because there are some really funny moments that you'd be able to catch on camera if that was the case. However, I do like the theming. I would still like to see that building that was formerly the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and let's forget about the dungeons and Toyland Tours. I'd like to see that building repurposed into something else, however, because I'm pretty sure the ride system for the boat ride is still sat there somewhere. So it would be nice to see it reopen in that way, but for the families, those are 2 really strong mazes and they're a lot of fun. And we were just talking to a family and they were saying that they've done it a few years on the bounce and the kids still love it. So I think if it's not broken, don't fix it. So it seems very popular, but I really enjoyed that. I also just want to point out that there's some new permanent looking theme in here. Well, I say permanent, it's seasonal, but it's obviously going to be reused, which looks really good. There's quite a lot of those around the park, so I should hopefully be able to get some more footage of them. and as you can see a little bit on the sign, it's lit up purple, so it's good that they've invested in the lighting, so you can see them on a night. It's currently 12:30, so the maze is open in just over 2 hours, so I will get back to you when we start heading towards the first scare maze, which I believe is going to be Altonville Mine Tours Tiny's Revenge, which was my favourite last year in the end. As much as Compound is more intense, Tiny's Revenge was probably the most memorable of them. But I'm very excited to get back into both of those and experience the new edge of the forest. Well, that was an amazing run through from Tiny's Revenge. I couldn't film anything in the queue line because I left my bags outside of the queue line. However, that maze every single time is brilliant. I actually was in a bigger group than last time. Last year I was probably in a group of about 6 people. However, this time it was probably 12, I think, and I was right at the back, and I got a lot of scares. It was really strong this year. The theming in there is great. It smells, it's like rotting corpses, and there's like, it's very dark in there, and there's a lot of confined spaces. It's very tight. It is very much a single file maze with uneven terrain, so it really adds to it, and it's like you kind of don't really know where you're going. And then there's all these flaps in the wall where people jump out, and there's cages where the victims of Tiny the Skin Snatcher hiding. Really strong maze. There was a fun moment at the end where I recognised Tiny from last year, and I shouted, "It's Tiny!" And so he gave me a wave, and then he grabbed onto my hair and he said, "Can I have your hair?" It's a really fun maze. You know, in its humour, it is a little bit campy, and I quite like that, because even though it is a very scary maze because it's loud, it's dark, it's cramped, you know, it's got a really strong story about how the skin snatchers are in the mines, and they're stealing people's hair for Tiny to wear on his head. But it's like, it's still got that element of humour that makes it still appropriate for ages 12 and up. And it's just a really strong maze, and I enjoy it every single time. Really gets the adrenaline pumping. There's a look out to the preparations for the fireworks, which are coming. Is it this weekend? Oh, no, I think it's next weekend. But yeah, really strong maze again, as always. We're here in Forbidden Valley because I've just completed Compound. Second run through, exact same layout. I did not get a single changed area. However, a very, very strong run. But I got scares in completely different places, which really made it. The locker room scene, there wasn't anyone waiting in there for us. It absolutely stunk. The smell pods in there are absolutely insane, and I think that's a scare enough because yeah, it really does reek in the locker room. And the Phalanx were really hands-on. They were properly splitting people up this time around, whereas before I managed to get away with being with my party. I definitely got split up this time, and oh my goodness, the manhandling, the shouting, they're really authoritative in there. It's absolutely brilliant, and the theming with the smoke rising up in all the labs with the test tubes with the alien, it's just brilliant in there. The theming is great, and I got a really good scare in the I believe it's like a kitchen or something similar to that, because with the strobe lighting you can't really see the way that things are moving. It almost takes like a screenshot in front of you, and the alien, who today was, there's Nemesis. It was played by someone who's really tall, so yeah, when he was like ducking in and out of the different like kitchen trolleys, it was really scary, and I got some really good scares. And then the second we left the kitchen area, the Phalanx with the tasers, they were grabbing our ankles, they were chasing us, grabbing us, and it was really hands-on, and I got some really good scares, and I actually started running a little bit, which is something I normally don't do in mazes because I like to spend as much time as I can in there. However, yeah, the Phalanx, they were really coming after us, and it was just hilarious. Even though I didn't get a different layout, I know that there's many different paths, which is obviously very good. But yeah, the Phalanx really do decide which rooms you go into, because they really do push you around. But honestly, it's so immersive, and it really builds on the story of Nemesis. Which means that obviously, I'm going to get another ride on Nemesis, and we're going to head down to Galactica. While I'm here, I just want to also recap the other mazes that I've been in. Of course, Amigos and Haribo Trick or Treat Town. Those are both aimed at the families, so of course they're not very scary. However, they do have some little frights and spooks. Both of those really good. The theming is also really good, nice and colourful, and not as detailed as, you know, the mature thrill scare mazes. However, you know, they really do what they need to, especially with the space that they've been provided. You can tell in Amigos in the Afterlife that it is in an old show building, because there are a few winding corridors to get around the ride system, which supposedly still exists in there. However, of the two mazes we've done so far, brilliant, completely different scares to last time, and the theming still absolutely holds up. And both of them, I don't feel like they've got old at all. I'd love to see Compound especially come back. I know that Tiny's Revenge and just the Altonville theme in general has been around for coming on 10 years now, and I know that it might need replacing at some point, but I do think if it's not broke, don't fix it, and I'd love to experience it again. However, we'll see if they spice the lineup again for next year's Scarefest, because I know Edge of the Forest, which I'll be experiencing later, has been popular, so I will have to see with that one. But yeah, I would definitely say of the two today, I'm going to have to say that Altonville was the stronger one again, by a small margin, but I would say that Compound performed a lot better this time. As last year, I only really got one big scare in Compound, and then the rest were like smaller ones. I did get quite a few like big jumps and like startles while in Compound today, and I thought the Phalanx were on top form, as are the operations from the Phalanx down here in Forbidden Valley today. There she goes again. Running like an absolute charm today. It's been raining quite a bit, however the rides have stayed operational, and it's just been a really strong day for queues. They've been like really pumping them through, so it's actually been quite a good experience with throughput and operations today. I'm not sure how well this is going to pick up on the camera. Oh wow, but Curse Alton Manor looks fabulous on a night. Wow, look at this theming. It's very rainy tonight, so the park has cleared out quite a bit. Wow, look at how good it all looks around here. Let's see if I can show you what the queue line looks like in the dark. had a night ride on Toxicator. That was very good. We got a 2 and a 3 flip, but honestly after the 3rd flip I didn't know if it was gonna stop. Wow, it felt like I was in the air for so long. Yeah, Toxicator, it's a very intense flat ride for me, but I do love it nonetheless. Wow. And they've still got the fog machines pumping out around here for Halloween. Very spooky. Wow, looks great apart from this bright white lights there, which I'm not picking up well on the camera whatsoever. But it's nice that they've closed off the extended queue there. Now, yeah, let's go take a ride in the Cursed Alton Manor.
No, exactly. I think she did do it gently as a good last time.
Okay, so this is the footage I collected from Dark Hollow. I'm not including the audio here because, as I said, I was with other people. So I'm going to give my review on this scare zone here. I thought this was really good. It really nicely expanded on the story of 13. So as you're walking through the forest, you get to see the Teddy Bear's Picnic. And the Teddy Bear Picnic song is kind of like the theme song for 13, but they change it so instead of if you go down to the woods today, you're in for a big surprise, it's if you go down to the woods today, you better not go alone. It's very spooky because you get to walk down through the forest, and there's all like actors coming out from the sides where the bushes are. So it's, as you can see, it's quite dark and there's lots of fog rising. I thought it was really immersive, and I quite liked the theming because it's like all surrounded by like antiques and old teddy bears, so it feels like all run down and a little bit possessed and derelict, and you can see there's all these relics hiding about in every corner, so it feels like you're kind of going into this like discovery site, which is sort of the theme for 13 as well. As you can see, there's a doll coming at us from in the shadows. There were some decent scares in here. That's probably the only downside, is that I felt like maybe it could have done with like 2 or 3 more actors in there, because I can't say I didn't get any jump scares. They were batching in fairly big groups, so you didn't get too many scares, to be fair. As you can see, this is the teddy bear picnic scene, and we've got a clown sat down there. There's someone in a corner with cymbals, but I couldn't get any footage of them. I did quite like the clown. I thought that costume was really good. And then there's some air cannons which are puffing out and making loud noises in this bit as well. There was also a scene where they have like a figure in the window of the cottage, which is in the gardens just next to this walkthrough. I didn't actually get any footage of that. I couldn't see it. It was quite dark, so I'm not too sure whether or not the lights were actually on in the house or not. They also have this fake tree here, which has loads of old rotting teddy bears hanging from it. I thought this was a really good theming piece. It's very big, so that was really good. And then we have the bear himself coming up and fronting up to guess. Yeah, very creepy costume. But yeah, I thought this was a really good scare maze. Zone, sorry. And it's really good that it's free, and it stayed open until 9:30, which is half an hour after ride close. So if you don't want to wait in the queue for it, we only waited like 2 minutes. It's not too big of a wait. Oh my god, look, it looks like there's a person down at the bottom.
See the silhouette?
Yeah, I did. Well, that was Edge of the Forest. I have to say that was the most intense one of the night. I got huge scares in there. They waited for everyone to be grouped in for the lesh wall to come out. So the story is that your soul belongs to the lesh wall in the forest, and that's why you don't go alone. And so basically you're walking through this like this dining room scene, which gets progressively more rotted as you go through the maze. So you repeat it multiple times, and you go through the dining room. I'm not explaining this very well. You go through the dining room and then into the forest where there's this broken down car multiple times, and it's progressively getting scarier and scarier, and there's more actors in there. I got some huge scares in there, people jumping out from in between these trees, and they were proper grabbing onto you and everything. And the lesh wall there's this scene where you're taken into a bedroom and the lights go off, and it's like in a blink of an eye the lesh wall just appears, and it's terrifying. But yeah, I thought that was an incredible addition actually. The theming is really good, it's really immersive. I wouldn't say there was many like smells in there, to be fair. I don't know if it's just because I wasn't paying attention, but definitely like there was a sense of urgency in that maze. Yeah, lots of really good big scares for me, and it really like played on the stuff that gets me terrified, with the lights turning off and then things popping up in your face. But yeah, it was much longer than what I expected. I think that the building for compound and edge of the forest are the same exact size, except in edge of the forest you go through every single room, unlike compound where you go on a different path each time. So it was really long, really good, great scares. I definitely, that's got to be the best for scares of the night. So I'm gonna have to put that in my top of my top 3. Get yourself! He's waiting! Yeah, I know. Just another look down Tower Street real quick as I leave the park. Very good day for Scarefest today, not too many queues. Of course, as I did in my last Scarefest vlog, I'm gonna rank which I thought were the best. And I'm also going to include the scare zones because I did manage to get those done. I didn't know if I was going to be able to because burial grounds shut for about an hour due to I can't remember what they described it as, but just reasons that they couldn't control. So, but I did still manage to get it in. So, of the thrill scare mazes, I'm gonna have to put Edge of the Forest in number 1. I don't know if it was because it was Halloween, but it seemed like that maze was at the top of its game. All the actors were getting plenty of scares, even though I was towards the back of the park. You know, the scares really split the group up and kind of spread everyone out across the maze. It's not got the highest throughput. We waited about 30 minutes, although the queue was estimated to be 55. However, I think because it's a new maze as well, it's going to have that popularity. A lot more people are going to want to do it. But I don't think that's an issue because I was perfectly happy waiting half an hour for that experience because I thought it was amazing. But yeah, I would say Edge of the Forest has been my top because the scares were super effective. Coming out from behind the trees, the theming was really great. I thought the storyline was really good as well, with the Lesh Wall kind of taking over and coming to claim your soul, like you can't hide from it. I thought that was really strong. And just the scares, I don't think I've ever shrieked like that before in a scare maze, so I thought they were really strong scares. Second, I think I'm gonna have to go with Tiny's Revenge. It's always really consistent. You know, there's plenty of actors in there all the time. Theming's great. The smells are disgusting, which is great. And it's just a really well themed and well thought out experience. It's been here for 10 years, so they've kind of perfected it at this point. And I think that's why some people might want to see a bit of a change because, well, it's like it's the same formula now. If they changed it, it might make it worse. But it's like I still think it's really consistent. I got some brilliant scares, and the interaction in there between, you know, the guests and the actors with them touching your hair to try steal it for Tiny, I think that works really well, and it creates a creepy atmosphere, and it really comes from nowhere because it was very dark in there, so very strong again. Third, I'm gonna have to go with Compound because, well, I did get the same route. It was really good. I got some really good scares. The alien was much scarier than it was last year, whereas like the alien last year kind of just stood still. Our alien today, wow, very good, especially with the strobe lighting. It was just popping out from nowhere, and just the actors were really good. The Phalanx with the tasers as well had me running and skipping everywhere. Yeah, it was a really good experience. Like the last section of the maze was really intense and it really ramped up, whereas maybe the rest of it was a little bit more tame than it was last year. However, I still think it was really good. I just would have liked to have had a unique path because I kind of knew what was going to happen. Then for obviously the scare zones, I'm going to say that Edge of the Forest, no sorry, not Edge of the Forest, sorry, Dark Hollow, I think was my favourite theming wise. I thought that was really good. I liked how it expanded on the story of 13. I'm just walking through the car park right now. I thought that was really good, and the theming was great. I liked how creepy it was going through the forest, and there's like lots of little hidden details, and the interaction was good. But definitely for the scares, Burial Grounds, I got a lot more scares in Burial Grounds, and I didn't actually get to experience it last year, so it was really good to get the chance to do that today. But yeah, I think Burial Grounds maybe has that edge on Dark Hollow, where Dark Hollow maybe was more appropriate for families and Burial Grounds is a bit scarier. I think the use of the masks in Burial Grounds with the jump scares coming from out of nowhere works really well, like hiding behind different things. A lot less jump scares in Dark Hollow. As for the family attractions, I'm going to say that Amigos wins this time. As much as Haribo is really well themed, it kind of felt like the same thing again. It was still funny, the interactions were really good, but I think Amigos, it like really made it. like, the interactions are really authentic and new every single time, so that's really good. And the theming is great as well, really good storyline. I think the kids in our group were a little bit apprehensive about the whole experience. However, me and my brother, we had a really good time in there. Thought it was really funny. But yeah, I think it all depends on like how much the group wants to interact with the actors. But it's so much fun, and it was great to see Barry the Worm again. But yeah, overall, brilliant Scarefest. I think the lineup really strong. I'm glad that we haven't seen the likes of Daz Games Panic again, because I didn't find it scary at all, and half of the wristband things didn't work, so we had to stop scare actors while they were trying to perform to ask them to fix the buttons, and then they were, you know, trying to keep character while they were doing that, which honestly, kudos to them. But you know, it just didn't work very well. And the attic was good to be able to see that extra part of the towers. However, it just didn't give me the scares, and I think Edge of the Forest kind of being its replacement totally fit. And I was expecting for it to be more of a family maze, like what I would have considered the attic to have been. But no, I got some really big scares. Yeah, they were really performing tonight, so it was really good. But yeah, brilliant Scarefest. But yeah, I think that's kind of all I have to say about this. Ride operation is very good. Got on loads of rides. I'll put a ride count up on the screen. Rides running amazingly. Didn't do any of the rides in X sector, however, because my priority was doing the mazes. But theming was really good across the park. Just really good, even despite the rain. Like, a lot of the rides continue to operate during the rain, including 13. 13 only had a little bit of downtime when it started raining, but it kept going, which is something that 13 doesn't normally do. So that was all really good. And the night rides are absolutely fabulous this time of year because it gets dark for like 5 o'clock. You can go into the station and it's sunshine, and then leave and it's like the middle of the night. So yeah, it was really good. Really strong Scarefest. But yeah, thank you for watching, guys. See ya!